please welcome Andrea Kafalos.
Hello. As Bethany said, my name is Andrea. I'm a breathwork and subconscious coach, and you're about to find out what that means. Before I get into breathwork, I just want to share this with you in case anyone is feeling this or has felt this. Anytime I speak on a stage, it's very surreal for me because this is the point at my business that I always had wanted to get to. But it was also the point where I was the most scared of. Growing up, I was told that I was too much, too loud, too emotional, too different, too difficult. And those beliefs were solidified because of the outside world, what people told me. So I did what most of us do. I learned how to be smaller. I learned how to hide the parts of myself that felt like too much. That way I could fit into these spaces that maybe were never meant for me. And that followed me into adulthood. It followed me into my corporate career. And when I started a business, it showed up again as a fear of success. Because success meant I would be seen. And being seen meant that I could be judged. So I sabotaged. I got in my own way over and over again. And I didn't really understand why, because I knew I was capable. I was working really hard, but I was stuck. And I share that with you because me being up here doesn't say that I figured it all out. I'm not going to claim all of that, but the work that I do, the work that happens from the inside out, is what helped me understand that why. And understanding that why gave me the ability to come here, to be bigger, to be unapologetic, to show up scared. That is the difference that it made for me. And it is the difference or the shift that I hope that I can give you today in the next 20 minutes. It may not be exactly like my story, but something internally can shift when we just spend a little bit of time focusing on what's running inside of our brains instead of what's going on around us. So, HypnoBreathwork. This is my favorite modality that I teach. I have other modalities I'm certified and trained in. There was a long list that Bethany so kindly read, but HypnoBreathwork is my favorite because it's efficient and it's just breathing, right? It uses breathwork, hypnosis, and visioning. So we're going to use a specific breath pattern that's actually going to allow us to take in a little bit more oxygen than we normally do, which is going to put us into a little bit more of an altered state. In that altered state, we're going to be able to access parts of our mind that we don't normally have access to. Instead of just trying to think our way through what's coming up, we're going to find out what's underneath. Those suppressed emotions, those old beliefs, those patterns that have been running in the background. Those can become more available to you when we shut our eyes and just think about them on the inside. And this is where the hypnosis piece comes in. So before I go any further, just so you all know, hypnosis is not what you see on TV, on stage shows, in movies, right? That's all staged. If anything, I will describe hypnosis as a focused awareness in a deeply relaxed state. It should feel like drifting off to sleep. We have coffee here though, so don't fall asleep on me. It should feel like drifting off to sleep or kind of like zoning out. In hypnosis, you are always in control. I cannot tell you to do or say something that you would not normally want to do. The whole walk or bark like a dog, quack like a duck, again, that is all staged. This is not mind control. This is just going internally. When we're in that altered state though, we have the ability to move past our conscious mind, move past the chatter that's going on in our brain. I like to use the example, we always have a lot of tabs running, especially for the entrepreneurs in here. We're shutting down some of those tabs just for a little bit. You can open them back up later. And when we're there, we can go past that chatter to find where your actual motivations are, where your core beliefs are, where your values, where your habits have been built over time. The American Medical Association has classified hypnotherapy and hypnosis as an evidence-based practice since 1958, so this is not woo, this is science. The final piece is the visioning. So once we've cleared the clutter, we've made room for something new. And this can be where you can vision out something completely different, an alternate reality, a new goal, the next level of you. You can see what it looks like, what it feels like. And you can also see the action you need to take to get there. So, I mentioned a specific breathing pattern. I want to prep you guys for this, and we're actually going to do it. Okay? So, the breath pattern is going to be a 2-part inhale, 1-part exhale. Inhales ideally are going to be through your nose, exhales out the mouth. If you are congested or have nasal breathing issues, feel free to do mouth breathing. It's just going to be a little more activating. On the flip side, if you feel too activated, switch to nasal breathing. My advice, try it as prescribed. If you don't like it, switch it up. That's the beautiful thing about breathwork is it's your breath. You have full autonomy over how you breathe. So I cannot control that. As long as you're just breathing, we're doing great. Now, since it's an activating breath pattern, things may come up, physical sensations, emotions. Grab your tissues if you think you're going to cry. It's a safe space for you to cry, right? I love tears. I think they're great. And also some visuals. For any people who are naturally a more visionary person, you can see things, you have very vivid dreams, you may get some visuals, which is great. All of that is normal. If you feel none of those things, that's also normal too. There's no right or wrong. I will just blanket statement though, since this is an activating practice, if you are pregnant or think you might be, if you have history of cardiovascular disease, seizures, or diagnosed psychosis, just treat this like a meditation. Don't do the activating breath, or just opt out, whatever you want. For those that are participating, I'm going to be cueing you the entire time. So if you ever get lost, just come back to my voice. If you go on a little journey that's not what I'm cueing you, that's great too. This is all happening inside your mind. I am just the facilitator. I will be asking cues that are geared towards your subconscious. Your job here is to breathe. Don't think. Just let anything come up. And my final note is I mentioned action, and I'm going to say this again. At the end of every HypnoBreathwork session, I always ask you what your action is, what your next step is. Now, I cannot tell you what you should or should not do. It's not my place. However, if that action is coming from a deep part of your mind, it's probably your inner guidance, and I would encourage you to listen to it. So, with that being said, I'm going to set you guys up. There are blindfolds on the table if you want to use them. If you don't want to mess up your makeup, I totally understand. You're welcome to close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can just soften your gaze, look at something inanimate. We're going to do a couple practice rounds, and then I will get my music going, and then we'll breathe. On the screen here, I have some questions that I typically ask people after breathwork. I'm not going to go through all of these with you. I'm just going to invite you to reflect on what stands out, but these are good check-ins. What I really want you to notice after an experience like this is what shifted. So how did you feel? How do you feel now in comparison to when you sat in your chair or on the floor? What shifted? What opened? What became clearer? What is your action? So I have a little sign at my booth that has share your action. You can share it anonymously. I would love for you all to come up to my space and share with everyone what your action is, because some of our actions here might be similar. Some of our actions might motivate each other. The most important piece of what I do is the action I take afterwards, and I encourage you to do the same. Because you can sit and do breath work all day, but if you're not doing something about it outside of the breath, then we're really not doing anything at all, right? One of my business coaches always says to me, nothing changes if nothing changes. So, other than that, at my booth I have more information about how to work with me, what I have offering-wise. I have some of my journals I've published on there, and I also have a raffle for a free session. So, I got lots of good stuff. Come see me, come connect. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. I hope the rest of this day leaves you feeling restored and ready to rise.